This is Glow in the Dark Radio. The science fiction podcast with original independent science fiction written and performed by Mike Luoma, with music by Kevin MacLeod. The Vatican Assassin Trilogy and The Adventures of Alibi Jones by Mike Luoma are available in ebook, trade paperback, and audiobook wherever you find your books online. Get links and details at glowinthedarkradio.com. This is the Science Fiction Podcast, Glow in the Dark Radio. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma, and I have Chapter 2 of the novel Alibi Jones on the way on this episode. We're just getting into this, so if you want to go back a week or 2 weeks, you can catch up real easy, or let me tell you where we're at, the story so far, as it were. Alibi Jones is being held in a cell on the planet Tecticart by the Tecta. They're a sort of squat reptilian alien race. He's being held along with a cat-like alien, the Dakor, named Kit, and a human drunk who seems to be sleeping off a blackout. The Tecta seem to think the Dakor will eat the humans, but that doesn't seem to actually be the case. Alibi and Kit are making other plans, as we'll see in Chapter 2 of Alibi Jones, coming up on this episode of Glow in the Dark Radio. In book news now, I should probably point out I've made this first novel's ebook free for a long time. So you can get Alibi Jones, the very first novel, as an ebook for free pretty much almost everywhere. Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Smashwords, Apple, Drive-Thru Fiction, and more. It's not free at Amazon. It's 99 cents for your Kindle because Amazon won't let you give away ebooks unless you give them exclusivity as far as distribution goes, if you're an independent guy like me. So, no, I'm not doing that, bastards. You can't have it exclusively. So I don't get to give it away for free at Amazon, but it's free everywhere else. Just letting you know. And the ebook for the Alibi Jones Chronological Omnibus, which you're listening to the audiobook of, is now available as an audiobook for the first time ever. 44 plus hours, everywhere you find audiobooks. It seems to be coming out at different prices, different places, so I'm not sure how that works, but this audiobook that we're serializing is now available. The Adventures of Alibi Jones Chronological Omnibus just came out at Hoopla, so if your library uses Hoopla, you can take it out of the library. All 44 plus hours of the Alibi Jones Chronological Omnibus. And the ebook, with 4 novels and 2 short story collections included, is just $4.99. So you can get the Alibi Jones novel ebook for free, but the Omnibus, with 3 more novels and 2 more short story collections, is just $4.99. Everywhere ebooks and audiobooks are sold, because I don't give Amazon exclusivity. I want to thank my patrons who help keep the podcast going, and if you can, I'd like to encourage you to become a patron and help keep the podcast going, if you can. It's $2, $5, or $10 a month, and you can do that through the folks at Patreon, Patreon. Patreon.com is the place. Patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio is where my show is, and where you can get episodes ahead of time if you're a patron, and I give you free stuff, and you support the podcast and help me do this every week. Again, that's patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio. Or just go to glowinthedarkradio.com or mikeluoma.com and follow the link to Patreon. We're getting into Chapter 2 of Alibi Jones, the novel, coming up next on Glow in the Dark Radio.
Hi, I'm JC. My co-host Cindy and I host the Fix It Home Improvement Podcast. We cover projects that every homeowner should know and top-rated products for home and garden. You can check it out on your favorite podcast app. It's called Fix It, F-I-X-I-T, Home Improvement.
Now here's Chapter 2 of Alibi Jones on Glow in the Dark Radio. The guard glances from side to side. It snags a passing bug from the air with its right tongue. The Tekta's eye stalks swivel around, watching out as it swallows. It does not want to get caught eating on the job. Full attention is supposed to be on the heavy cell door behind him. If the guard is caught feeding, its superiors will know it is closing in on sleep cycle, and the guard will lose position. A noise from inside the cell gets the guard's attention. "What are you doing? No! No!" One of the humans is screaming. "No! No! Ah! The yelling stops abruptly. The guard smiles the Tekta equivalent of a smile. Sounds like the Dakur is finally feeding. "Everybody eat," the guard hisses to itself. Another bug floats by. This time, the guard uses its left tongue to pull in the hovering morsel. Soon it will be sleep cycle. "Wake up, sluggard!" The Tekta superior hisses at the sleeping guard before him. The guard snaps back into consciousness, battered by the slapping tentacles of the superior berating him. The guard began its sleep cycle. It will lose position. "You feed on the job, Kata! You are worthless!" the superior hisses. "I apologize. I beg humbly for forgiveness." The guard tries to cover itself. "Why do you always feed, Kata? To feed is to sleep. The Dakur fed too." "Were you inspired then?" the superior says with scorn. "I beg humbly for forgiveness." "Did you see the Dakur feed? Which human did he eat?" "Maybe he ate both of them. I did not see him eat. I heard him. Through the door. Sounded messy," the guard says. The superior hums as he meditates. "I beg humbly for forgiveness." The guard blurts out another plea. "I hear you," his superior hisses with disdain. "Wake yourself up!" He hands the guard a set of restraints he can use on the Catman. "Since the Dakur has eaten, it will now be sleeping. An excellent opportunity for you to go in and put these on him." "Right now?" the guard asks. The superior checks his timepiece. "Give it an hour. Let him digest for a bit and sink deeper into sleep. Can you stay awake for another hour, Kata?" "Yes, sir. I can and I will, sir. Thank you for this opportunity, sir. I won't let you down, sir. I humbly beg—" "My forgiveness," the superior says, cutting him off. I know, Kata. Here is your chance to earn it. Don't mess up." The superior officer turns and slithers away. Kata leans back against the wall next to the door and tries to stay awake. The guard talks to itself. No falling asleep," he says in a soft voice to himself. "Stay awake." After about half an hour alert, the guard begins to drift towards sleep cycle. He snaps himself out of it as he starts to slide to the floor. "No, cat! No sleep cycle, not yet!" The guard's eye stalks whip around as it looks up and down the corridor. There's no one around. No witnesses to his drowsiness. "Good! Maybe—" The guard looks up and down again. It looks back at the cell door. "Maybe I should do it now." The guard decides. He turns and unlocks the cell door. He opens it up and looks inside the darkened cell. There is a lump on the floor in the back corner. Before the Tekta guard can enter with the restraints, he's hit by two blurs flashing out of the darkness. Alibi hits him high. Kit hits him low. The three fly out into the corridor. tumbling in a tangle of fur, tentacles, and human limbs against the wall opposite the cell door. "Grab his burner," Kit calls out to Alibi. Alibi can't quite reach the Tech-Ta guard's burner, a rifle-sized energy gun tethered to a harness worn over its tentacles. The burner has fallen from the harness and dangles from a strap. "I can't reach it! You can! It's near your left paw!" Alibi tells the Dakor. "I got it," the drunk says. Piccolo has joined them in the corridor. He grabs the guard's burner strap and pulls the gun over to him. "How do you fire this thing?" "Wrap your hands around the handle sticking out there. Point the skinny end and squeeze the handle." Kit gives fast instructions, as if your hands were a tentacle. "Do it now, quickly." Piccolo buries the skinny end in the guard's side and squeezes the handle of the burner with both hands. Fwash! A sick smell of charred meat fills the air. Alibi and Kit jump away from the severed halves of the former guard as they thump to the floor. The three cellmates exchange glances between them. Piccolo tears the strap of the burner from the dead guard's harness. "Let's go," Alibi says urgently. "Aren't you going to thank me?" Piccolo asks snidely, brandishing the burner like a drunken cowboy with a rifle. "Run, follow me this way now," Kit commands. He turns and takes off down the corridor. Alibi and Piccolo follow fast as they can run, Piccolo holding on to the Tech-Ta burner. Kit leads them through twisting corridors to an outside door guarded by two Tech-Ta. The three escapees stop just out of sight of the guards, around the corner from the exit. "Give me the burner," Kit says to Piccolo. Piccolo pulls the gun back away from him. "Why should I?" he asks. He draws the gun-like weapon in close to his chest. They hear a noise around the corner. Hissing from the Tech-Ta. Sounds like the guards have heard them. "Either give me the burner, or turn that corner and shoot them yourself." "Now!" Kit hisses at Piccolo. Piccolo hurriedly hands over the burner to the Catman. Kit struggles with the weapon and lets out a sharp hiss of his own. "I cannot squeeze it correctly. I cannot make enough contact on the handle with the pads of my hands. Damn tentacled bastards." The Dakor curses. "Let me see it," Alibi asks, holding out his hands. Kit passes the burner over. Alibi gets a feel for the handle. "Ah, that's how it works." "I've got it. Here we go." Alibi surges around the corner and squeezes the handle of the burner at the same time. Fwash! The beam from the high-intensity energy weapon slices a jagged burning path through the two Tech-Ta guards. Alibi swings the burner back and forth. The reptilian aliens' hissing protests fall silent as they dissolve into pieces on the floor. Kit comes up behind Alibi. "Go," Kit says. Alibi feels a furry paw on his back, pushing him to move forward. He runs ahead toward the dead guards, with Kit and Piccolo close behind him. "Oh," Alibi blurts out when a small piece of Tech-Ta flesh squishes underneath his boot as he runs through the doorway outside. "Keep moving," Kit says, catching up next to him. "We need to get out of here. Get as far away from the Tech-Ta holdings on Tech-Ta-Karn as we can. As fast as we can." Outside the building, the ground is barren. The three see a distant fence marking the boundary of the compound. "That way," Kit says, nodding at the fence. Hissing alerts them. They look back and see another Tech-Ta guard emerging from the building. Alibi lifts the burner. "You guys get going, I'm right behind you." Kit and Piccolo begin to run as he swings around and squeezes the burner's handle, the beam slicing the Tech-Ta clean through. Fwash! As the smoking alien collapses in pieces, Alibi turns and runs. He catches up with Kit and Piccolo at the compound's fence, an 8-foot-high barrier made of plastic and stone. "Blast the fence with the burner," Kit calls over to Alibi, nodding at the barrier before them. Alibi turns the burner on the fence and squeezes the handle. Fwash! Alibi concentrates the burner beam and melts a hole through the wall of fused plastic and rock. He plays the beam steadily around the edges of the hole, expanding it. He stops when he figures it's big enough, about 3 meters across. They wait for the edges to cool, and then duck through the hole. The area beyond the fence is also bare and desolate. Kit gets his bearings. He nods to the left, and heads off in that direction with Alibi and Piccolo following. Leaving the Tech-Ta holdings behind them, they run. "We need to get to the port. My hope is we can find a non-Tech-Ta ship to get us out of here," Kit says, looking over at Alibi as they run across a gravel field dotted by sparse growth. Do you have a ship we can use? Kit asks Alibi. Nah, I hitched a ride with the Tech-Ta to get here, he tells him. You stowed away on one of their ships? No wonder they do not like you, Kit says. The cat-like alien turns to the other man, about to ask Piccolo if he has a ship. But Kit stops himself. Never mind. Don't you have a ship? Alibi asks Kit. Impounded, Kit explains. Does the project ever send ships out this way? You ever see any of them around? The human scientists? Why would they? Tecticarn is a commercial outpost and a shady one at that. Not much on this rock to interest your human scientists, I would not think, Kit says. I was just hoping, Alibi explains. I have some connections in the project. My, aunt runs the place. Your aunt? It is good to have friends in high places. Even better to have relatives there, Kit says. Fwash! Alibi feels heat on his back as the beam from a Tech-Ta burner makes contact with the gravel behind him. They're shooting at us! Piccolo yells in a panic. They're shooting at us from the fence! Brilliant observation, Kit comments. Keep running. The three fugitives continue their mad dash as the aliens fire burner weapons at their heels. Flash! Another beam hits, but it's a little further back this time. We're almost out of their range, Alibi figures. They'll have to send guards out after us if they want to keep up. You know they will, Kit says. I'm betting on it, Alibi jokes. That was Chapter 2 of the novel Alibi Jones on Glow-in-the-Dark Radio. Making a break. Alibi, Kit, and Piccolo are out of the Tech-Ta facility and heading off across the surface of Tecticar, trying to find a spaceport and a way off planet. We'll rejoin their escape attempt on our next episode in Chapter 3 of Alibi Jones, the novel Alibi Jones, on Glow-in-the-Dark Radio. And a reminder, as I said at the outset before the chapter, you can get the first novel, Alibi Jones's ebook, for free, pretty much everywhere except Amazon. Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Smashwords, Apple, just 99 cents for your Kindle at Amazon. And if you want to get the Chronological Omnibus ebook, that is just $4.99, with 4 novels and 2 short story collections included. And the Chronological Omnibus audiobook just came out. It's just been released. That's why we're doing it here on the podcast. That has 44 plus hours of Alibi Jones. And you'll find it everywhere you find audiobooks, including Hoopla. As I was mentioning, I just found out that it has been added at Hoopla. So if your library uses Hoopla for audiobooks, you can get Alibi Jones and take the audiobook out of the library. And once more, thank you to patrons for Glow-in-the-Dark Radio. Glow-in-the-Dark Radio patrons help keep the podcast going. You guys are amazing. And that is all for this week. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma. Thank you for listening to Glow-in-the-Dark Radio. Glow-in-the-Dark Radio. This podcast presentation is copyright 2023 by Michael F. Luoma and is protected under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License, CC by NCND 4.0. Music by Kevin MacLeod. You can find his work at Incompetech.com. Mike's books are available in ebook, paperback, and audiobook, wherever you find books online. Get links and more details at glowinthedarkradio.com and mikeluoma.com. This has been a presentation of Glow in the Dark Radio.